Go.
Hi again, everyone, and welcome to the 2012 Q Sports International U.S. Bar Table Championships, coming to you live on the Action Report here from the Grand Sierra Hotel in Las Vegas, Nevada. Our coverage is presented by OBQs and sponsored by Kamui. This is the women's 8-ball final between Stacy Allsup and Melissa the Viper Little. This will be a race to 4. Stacy in the hot seat, so Melissa will have to win 2 sets to win the title. And as we get underway here, I'll give you a little info on the players. And once again, thanks everybody for being with us. Stacy came through a 46-woman field undefeated. Melissa having just won the semifinal against Patty West to make her way here to play for the championship. This is Melissa's second final, having played in the 9-ball final against Rebecca Wagner. Went 2 sets and Rebecca came out on top there. You see the Kamui tip logo, and speaking of which, Stacy does play with a Kamui tip, and she uses Kamui chalk. Stacy plays with a Carmelli Q, and she's also sponsored by Hustlin'. Melissa Little, the Viper from Denver, Colorado. Well-known player on the WPBA Tour. And a pretty nice opening break there by Melissa. Looks like she'd like to take the solids, she'd like to take the stripes given the position of the 8-ball. But she'll have to deal with the 11 and the 15 up there on the left-hand rail if she does that. It doesn't look like a whole lot of ways to open those up unless she wants to try it right now by playing the 10 and coming across. But the 12 doesn't pass the 2. Nor does the 9. So definitely some work here. The solids do seem more attractive, but she's going to have to do something with the 2-ball and try to maybe move the 8. Well, she's opened up the path for the 2, but the 8 has no pocket. And it looks like she'll be shooting the 6-ball here. Melissa playing with a Jacoby Custom Q and sponsored by Wincoop, among others. Don't know that she wants to risk trying to move the 8 here. Probably her best opportunity to win this game is going to get on the 8 where she can play it cross side. The 3 actually lays pretty good to get on it that way, so I wouldn't be surprised if she came around 2 rails here around the 13, shot the 5. But she sure looks a little undecided here on what she wants to do. I think what she was looking at, and I don't think it's going to work, would be trying to slide the 8 into the cushion and off the 14 in the corner here. That's just not going to work, I don't think, the way they're laying. But she may try to run into the 8 here. And she did that, but she's not going to like it. Got a little bit of help there by running into the 9. No way she can play the 3 and hold the cue ball there for a cross-side bank on the 8. And I don't think she can even come 4 rails off the 3. There looks like there's a little too much traffic, although she might be able to. But she's going to have to put her extension on her cue to reach this. And the only real path I see is 4 rails, just missing the 10, then missing the 11, coming back and getting behind the 8 ball and bumping it out a little bit. Maybe she can just bunt this, I'm not sure. That's what she's tried to do. And she actually did pretty well with it. I didn't think she could hold the cue ball quite that well. And now she has an opportunity to bank the 8 and win the game. And she overcut it, ran into the 9. The 9 went in. Simply loss of turn. Stacy coming to the table. And I wouldn't be surprised if Stacy can't make the 14 ball. I wouldn't be surprised if she rolls a cue ball down there by the 10 and just plays safe and makes Melissa kick at the 8 ball. Because if the 14 doesn't go, there's really no advantage to try to pocket a ball here. She's still going to have to break that out. But that's what she's doing. She's looking at the 10. And that was exactly what I thought she would do. Melissa is now hooked. She's going to have to kick behind it, as you see, and she's called it in the upper left-hand pocket. Well, if that goes in the side, she's going to lose the game. Okay, it didn't go. If you pocket the 8-ball and other than the pocket you're playing it in, you do lose the game. Now they're all open for Stacy. And this is just a question of picking the correct pattern. And that certainly isn't where she wanted to be. Not sure she really had a spot in mind to go there. And safe again. I'm not sure if Melissa has any part of the 8. I don't think she does, but it's not the world's most difficult kick into the side pocket, which is her only opportunity to actually make the ball. She's either, if she goes to the left of the 10 ball, she'll have to juice it up with right. If she goes to the right of the 10 ball, she'll either have to straighten it out or try at 2 rails. That was one heck of a shot. So game number 1 to Melissa Little and Stacy to break off here in rack number 2. Women's 8-ball final live on tar from the Grand Sierra Resort in the 2012 U.S. Bar Table Championships. Stacy has an opportunity to finish second in the women's all-around, but she would have to win the event here. That would give her a total of 185 points. Rebecca Wagner's already got it locked up with 235. And if Stacy were to come in second, she would get 80 points to go with her 85, and she would actually tie Beth Fondell for second place in the women's all-around. A little more complicated on the men's side. Dry break. Several clusters there. Nothing really looks appealing here. She might shoot the 11 now if it goes, just because she's there. Of course, if she wanted to, she could maybe even draw this, play the 12, draw it with low left into the 14, and then have a shot on the 15 or the 11. And that's exactly what she tried to do, but unfortunately she rattled the 12 ball. So Stacy to the table, shooting solids in rack number 2. Appears she's called the 3-ball cross corner. Well, she got a couple of options here. She could play the 14-12. She could play safe behind the 14 just by bunting the 9. But I think that was the correct shot. You know, a lot of this rack really is going to depend on that 11 ball. She's looked at it a couple of times, and I actually am looking right down that angle, and it just looks like it's blocked just enough with the 5 that it can't be made in the corner. So she's going to have to figure some way to open that up if it doesn't go. If it does go, her eyes are obviously better than mine. Most people's eyes are. And it did go. But unfortunately, she let the cue ball drift, where she now has no shot but the 13 ball. That was nicely struck. And I think she can make the 15. The 14 will pass the 7. I just don't know that she can hold up the cue ball towards the middle of the table for the 9. She may actually have to try to go all the way around that 4 ball. Well, Stacy with an opportunity now to steal this game back. Probably want to start with the 5 ball here because it's blocked by the 9 and the 8 for these pockets. And she got very fortunate by leaving no shot from Melissa. I don't know which ball she called in this corner. Oops. Oh, that'll be all right. Draw this back maybe 2 feet or so. Get straight in on the 2. And because she overdrew it, she still has the 3. Nicely struck. And this to tie the match at 1 apiece. Okay. Melissa's taking a timeout.
What?
Melissa called a timeout. After 2 games.
Huh? Those shirts are free? $10 for you, sir.
Yeah. How about for Marianne? Marianne needs a shirt.
15.
Hey, you know what? You know he's not Justin. Sonny.
I'm just kidding.
I'll tell you what, because I like you, if you buy one, she can have one free.
She get one for free?
Yeah.
How much are they?
$10.
Really?
Yeah.
You take table coin?
Sure.
Hey, guys. No, not yet. You don't smoke.
Small, medium, large, and all my size.
While we're waiting for Melissa to come back here, we'll do another quick rundown here on the men's all-around, because the possibilities are pretty interesting. As we say, right now, there's a 2-way tie for the lead between Shane Van Borning and Glenn Atwell. Of course, they have 150 points each, and they can't get any more. They're out. Larry Neville just got eliminated, so he's out of contention. So in addition to Shane and Glenn Atwell, here's how it stacks up. Oscar Dominguez, right now, he has minimum 4th place points, which are 55. He has 85 going in. That gives him a total of 140. Should he get to 3rd place, that would give him 150. If Jeff Beckley wins the tournament, and he's presently sitting at 50, he'll wind up at 150, and we will have a 4-way tie. If Oscar finishes 2nd in this tournament and Jeff Beckley does not win the tournament, I believe Oscar then becomes the all-around champion, because he'll get 80 more points to go with his 85. He'll have 165, and Jeff would have 130, and of course Shane and Glenn would be surpassed. So really, the guy. What's the matter with the table?
It's just full of water.
The table's full of water?
No, my
Oh,
table
your
over
table.
here. My cube stuff is in it.
Go ahead, I'll fix it up for you.
See the Logan shirt? Look on the back of that black one. Yeah.
I love that guy there. The L Strickland thing.
Yeah, good.
That was at Hollywood Billiard.
Yeah. I think it was the last year they did it. Yeah. Huh? Yeah.
Apologize for the interruption there. Had to do a little maintenance on the player table there that Melissa is using. A cup of water was leaking over there, and got on the extension of her cue and her tokens, etc. So we just fixed all that up, and we're back in action here. And Stacy with a 2-game-to-none lead in a race to 4. This is the first of a possible 2-set final. Stacy having come undefeated, Melissa from the 1-loss side. So Stacy is 2 racks from the championship. And she's going to start with the 3-ball. Oh, I'm sorry, I sure thought she was. But she decided to play safe. The table is still open,
Solid somewhere where it's done.
which means Stacy still has her choice of groups, and she could shoot a solid into a stripe or vice versa. I think the stripes lay pretty good because she'll have an opportunity to open the 9 from the 2, but I think she's going to duck. The 8 has a pocket in the left side. But I think we're going to see some sparring here for several innings before anybody wants to risk starting to take some balls off the table. The only actual shot Melissa has here would be the 9-2 combination or the 9 down there near the 14. And I don't even think it passes. No, it doesn't. We didn't see much safety play at all in the men's division, maybe a couple of innings here and there, but for the most part, it was run-out pool. But I think a part of that was attributable to the way the men were breaking. And Melissa's going to play another safety, I think. Oh, no. Now, I don't know if she called that. I guess she did because she's... No, she didn't. She played safe, which is what I thought she would do. Table is still open. You can't establish groups on a safety. Table remains open. Groups are still not established. Stacy did play that ball cross corner. She was attempting to make it. But now the stripes are open. And Again, Melissa's only issue here, probably, if she gets to it, would be the 8. I can't tell from where I'm sitting if the 8 passes the 3 in the lower right, but it does go to the left side. If she wanted to, she could play the 12, get on the 11, and then float forward to separate the 1 and the 8, and probably have the 13 as her safety ball. And I think a lot of that would depend on whether the 8 passes in the lower right corner. If it does, of course, there's no need to move it. And an uncharacteristic miss there by Melissa. Stacy now has the solids. You can see the 5 ball blocked by the 14. But there is a possibility of making the 4 off the 14, cushion first, which would open that pocket up. And she could do that right now, or she could play the 1 or the 7, and then the 7, and try to maneuver to get a better look at that. I'd say this is a pretty big game for Stacy. I mean, you can say it's equally as important for Melissa, of course. But when you jump out 2-0 in a race to 4 and you only need 1 set to win, you give your opponent an opportunity to kind of worm their way back into the match, then all of a sudden things can tighten up a little bit in that left arm of hers. And I do believe the 4 is the correct shot, but she's got to hit it cushion first. No good. I do believe the 14's accessible now for Melissa after playing the 9 or the 13. The only difficulty will be getting the cue ball out.
Practicing their jumps again.
Well, that caused a problem now. Actually, I've got a good view of it. The 8 ball will go right between the 3 and the 1 in the corner by the 10. And Melissa needs to consider herself awfully fortunate to have that opportunity. But she's got to play the 13. She's going to have to get a pretty precise angle on the 10 ball after making the 11 in order to come back around for the 8 in the same pocket as the 10. So I think she just wants to bounce off the rail, maybe 8 or 10 inches here. Might not quite be steep enough. She's actually looking at the 8 in the side. She would have to be absolutely pinpoint perfect, dead straight in on that ball. And I think that's probably going to be her choice.
Ken, I've got a question here. Someone in the chat said you mentioned if you intentionally foul, shoot your opponent's ball in, it's loss of game. Is there a miscommunication there?
Yeah, I don't believe I said that. I'm not sure what they're trying to clarify. Let me wait for Melissa to shoot this 8, and then I'll try to respond. Nice shot. No, the only thing I think I might have said was I know there was a shot on the 8 ball in one of the games earlier where the 8 ball missed the intended pocket and was heading towards another pocket. And had that 8 ball dropped in other than the intended pocket, it would have been loss of game.
Somebody said you talked something about falls under unsportsmanlike conduct.
Oh, I know what we were talking about. It was basically, I think the situation, and I don't know if it was a game situation or just a question that maybe Easy asked me the other day or even today, but where someone would intentionally try to disturb the layout by committing a foul to either extract themselves from a terrible position or to put their opponent in a lock-up type situation.
So by foul, you mean like bumping a ball with your hand? Or?
Right, or something like that.
Yeah.
Right. Or bumping a couple of them with your cue stick,
right,
thinking that the worst that's going to happen to you is ball in hand, and it might be worth it to give up the ball in hand to get that position.
Sure.
But if you do something like that deliberately,
yeah,
it falls under unsportsmanlike conduct, and then the penalty is at the discretion of the official. And most likely in a case like that, Justin, the penalty would be loss of game if it was a first offense. But if it was, if the player had been previously warned about something like that and did it again, it could be forfeiture of match, disqualification from the tournament, etc. So I hope that clarifies the question for everybody. You know, it's like trying to trap the cue ball into the jaw with your tip, and maybe in one pocket where you're willing to give up a ball for that leave.
Yeah.
And I know under BCA Pool League rules and at Derby City, if someone were to do that, in addition to the foul and 1 ball penalty, the opponent would then be awarded ball in hand.
Right.
Just to help deter someone from doing that, because sometimes giving up a ball is well worth it, but you still have to take your fouls in a legal manner. And the score is 2-1, but Stacy really has a great opportunity here to get herself on the hill for the championship. She has 3 solids left, doesn't want to move the 1, and she didn't. This looks quite promising here. She'd like to be able to get on the 3 where she can be dead straight in on the 1. Doesn't want to have to move the 8 ball if she can avoid it. And I guess she's going to go ahead and go 2-1, possibly even playing the 1 in the corner. And now I think that's probably what she's going to have to do. That's not too bad right there. All she's got to do is make this ball and slide a little bit to the right as we're looking at it. She'll be set for the 8 inside. Just don't try to overthink this. Just go ahead and make the ball and you should be fine. Very nicely done. And this to get on the hill. And she's done that. And Stacy Allsup, 1 game away from the Women's 8-Ball Championship here at the 2012 U.S. Bar Table event, presented by OBQs and sponsored by Kamui. And Stacy asked me to make sure we say a big hello out there to her dad, Ron, who we know is sweating the action. So your girl's doing good so far, Ron. She's 1 game away from the title. But she's still got the Viper to deal with. And the Viper didn't get that nickname because she's a pushover, believe me. And remember, this is a race to 4. And I believe our next matchup is probably scheduled to be Oscar Dominguez and Rob Saez for 3rd and 4th place, and the right to face Bustamante in the left side final. You know, the solids don't look all that bad, because if he can make the 2 and stay up here, the 3 will carry him off the 4 in the side, and I think that's what she's looking at right now. The 7 goes, the 1's out in space, the 8's out in space, and if I'm shooting, I'm going to shoot the 2 ball right now. Try to get on that 3, bank it off the 4. Well, she'd wanted to be out a little further, but I think she still has to play it now because it's awfully difficult to get back there. And yes, she has indicated the side pocket. And then the 4 should track down towards that lower corner. And if she can just float the cue ball out a little bit, she'll have either the 4 or the 7. And the 1 goes in both corners. She fortunately stopped close enough to where she didn't marry up to the 1 ball. And I think she can just pinch this in and have an easy shot on the 7, and the 4 and 8 are right there. Came down a little further than she wanted to, but either way, this is the shot she's got to play, is the 7, and has to decide whether she wants to try to run into the 10 off the cushion or just go in between the 10 and the 8 and come over and back. Or maybe even just soft roll it. I wouldn't want to hit the object ball there, the strike ball, if I could avoid it. Oh boy. Little help from the gravity there. She hit that kind of rough, but it did drop. And that makes the score Stacy 3 and Melissa 2. Stacy is breaking for the championship. Well, there's a possible 2 games left in this set. And Miss Stacy needs one of the 2 to wear the crown. Melissa needs both of them to force a second set. And this will be the last time that Stacy is breaking in this set. And she knows that too, but you want to make sure you still control your emotions here and you don't overamp and let that cue ball get away from you. Second ball break, which is a good safe way to prevent the cue ball from going anywhere. A couple of balls down. Looks like she's going to have to take the stripes. I don't see a whole lot of future in the solids because of the 5 ball. She could start right now with the 10 and probably open up the 14. It would be a question of what she's going to do after that and what she's going to do with the 9 ball. Kind of thin on this, but I think she can just get the 14. You know, it might even go without you touching it at all. And now she's got a little bit of a problem. Only possible shot I see is the 9 or the 13 in the side off the 7. If the 9's makeable, I think now's the time to play it. But it looks like the 8 is forward of the 9, and I'm not sure she wants to risk a potential foul. But she's going to have to deal with it one way or the other.
That's what I'm saying.
I don't know what she's done here. Look at this shot. What a beautiful stroke that was. Now she can make the 9, I believe. And if she can, now's the time to shoot it, but you don't want to move the 8 too far where it gets tied up with anything. Might not have a better opportunity to get on this ball. Possibly could play the 12 and get a little straighter in on the 9 to help improve her position, and then just maybe budge the 8, stop there, and have the 13 in the side. But it's just hard to tell from where we're sitting, so we'll just wait and see what she decides. She's 4 balls away from the championship. Pretty well done there. She did get a better angle on the 9. And this could very well be the championship shot. This is kind of like a center ball, maybe a... What's she doing now? She's going to play the 13. Evidently, she doesn't think she can pocket the 9 cleanly. But if she makes the 13, then what? If the 9 goes, perhaps she's going to draw this back and then play the 9. Maybe she can go into it, too. Stacey Allsup about to shoot the tournament-winning ball. She's got plenty of room between the 4 and the 8 to play the 8 in the side. I think she's just making absolutely sure that that's the pocket she wants to play this in. And then, by the way, that was one heck of a shot she just made on that 9 ball. Now she's called it in the corner, I think. She might have been concerned about the cue ball hitting the 2 and going down near the corner pocket. But there's definitely room to play this in the side. Just got to be committed here. And she did it. That was a terrific out. And Stacey Allsup is our 2012 U.S. Bar Table 8-ball champion, $875. And as a matter of fact, points-wise, that might have just got her second place in the women's all-around.
Congratulations to Stacey Allsup. First place.
Just use Reno, and password the access.
So anyway, looks like we're going to try to get our next match underway here, I think in roughly 10 minutes or so at 4:30 Pacific time. It'll be Robbie Saez and the Big O, third, fourth place match. So stay with us for that, guys.